Alright then guys, what's up? Here we go. This is HungriCroc coming at you now with Warcraft 3 with myself here, obviously as the orc, and this little purple speck right here, and over here is the player Learning Hue. Learning Hue. I'm guessing that means learning human. This is an orc versus human matchup. I do not remember this map, to be honest. I do apologize, but looks like we can expect some typical build orders. As you can see, both players have decided to put down their farm, their barracks, their altar of kings. Definitely trying to get their heroes out as soon as possible on both sides. Let's just speed it up by 3 times speed, just so it goes up ahead a little bit. Now this matchup was a very peculiar matchup for myself, if I do say so. I do want to again stress that I am a relatively new player to this game. New in the sense that I do not usually play competitively. I've never played competitively 1v1 until well, this month actually, to be honest. So everything that you see here is new for myself. Maybe it won't be new to you guys, but I'm really calling out to you veteran players out there. Those of you guys who have played Warcraft 3 extensively, I'm really calling you out, guys, asking for your feedback, opinion, also constructive criticism in general. But here we go, just going to start the game. HungriCroc now beginning to creep out this creep camp right here, using his Farseer with the help of the direwolves, and as we can expect here with the human. Oh yes, HungriCroc, I did send out a peon. Peon does get taken out, giving a little bit of experience right there. 25 experience for Archmage, a very nice little experience right there. And then human player already now putting an Arcane Vault. Voodoo Lounge for HungriCroc is now being constructed as well. Both players thinking rather the same thing in terms of creeping and establishing a Voodoo Lounge or an Arcane Vault for those nice extra items. And as we can see here, human has pulled off his peasants and have converted them into militia. Militia, very nice units actually. Have some actually pretty good DPS, 12, 13 damage. Actually, I believe they're the same damage as a footman and the same attack speed. Only difference is footmen tend to have more HP versus that of the peasant itself. But overall, peasants actually deal a sufficient amount of damage if they just don't really have the highest amount of HP itself. But there we go. Now Archmage actually right now for Learning Hue. Now level 2. Picks up a nice Gauntlet of Strength. Usually Gauntlet of Strength is better off perhaps for, you know, perhaps that of the Mountain King itself. But for the Archmage, you know, getting that +3 for damage and HP really does make a difference for squishy as squishy as a hero as the Archmage itself. Farseer still level 1 right here, creeping out these Furbolgs, these wolves are right here with his grunts and his direwolves right here. Furbolg Shaman should go down relatively quickly soon, and he should probably get to level 2 after killing off these creeps. Wand of Illusion is dropped right here. Nice item in general, good for using to scout to create more units than your enemy would assume. Yep, he does become level 2. Will pick up a Chain Lightning, I do believe, right here. Archmage, now let's see what item will he pick up. Looks like he picks up a Lesser Clarity Potion used to replenish mana of 100 over the spawn in 30 seconds. And both players right now not going out of the ordinary, now picking up a Lumber Mill. Looks like he'll be picking up a Lumber Mill perhaps to get additional upgrades for his towers. And then HungriCroc right here having a little bit of a skirmish, but he will need to pull back. He is very he is not in any good position to engage his force right here. He has much lesser forces, and he does have grunts who are in a much precarious situation. And now, again, Learning Hue is not pulling off some more peasants, converting them to militia, and taking on this creep camp right here. Level 6 Troll Warlord and level 4 Troll Berserkers. Definitely going to do a good job creeping. Looks like Learning Hue will want to be establishing an expansion right here. An early expansion, really a necessity for human players, it seems, from what I've seen in terms of professional gaming itself. Players like Tho, Yumiko, those players in general, Chinese players from what I've seen, or just in general, definitely human players want to set up an expansion. And now Archmage is level 3. This is going to be a problem for HungriCroc, who is now only level 2. Reason why I say that is Archmage level 3 with that nice aura, I believe, Brilliance aura, I do believe, which gives additional mana. What is this grunt doing here? Oh, that was an illusion. Never mind. I was afraid that I had actually sent in an actual grunt unit. That would have been disappointing. But HungriCroc has now scouted off this expansion right here. Are either player going into tier 2? Yes, looks like HungriCroc is just about to finish off his stronghold right now. Should be getting a Shadow Hunter within any minute. If we check right here for HungriCroc, should be getting a Shadow Hunter. Yep, he is now getting a Shadow Hunter. And Learning Hue is content not to go into tier 2 yet. He has devoted quite a bit of resources, now putting up additional guard towers, scout towers in general to defend this expansion right here. HungriCroc has scouted this out, but he is not doing anything in that regard. He is actually now instead just creeping out, while the Archmage and his human allies are now content to sit and do guard duty, waiting for that expansion to be set up. Bestiary now being set up. Shadow Hunter now halfway done being completed. War Mill is not getting up any upgrades. If we check the units, if there are any upgrades, yes, there is 1 armor on the units themselves. HungriCroc just content to just feel free to continue creeping. Has 2 Wands of Illusions. Very interesting items. Looks like Archmage, will he consider going out doing some more creeping? No. Looks like he wants to make sure that this base is established with proper enough defenses. Blacksmith now going down, perhaps to get those additional upgrades. And I am expecting Mason, some kind of masonry upgrade in order to increase the armor for these guard towers. Not seeing it being upgraded though for Learning Hue itself. HungriCroc now just sitting around, needs to pick up those slippers agility. Yes, thank you very much. Now has +6 agility, making that Farseer much more speedy in terms of advancement and movement speed for certain. Town Hall now will be finished. Expansion now will be complete. Harvesting of gold mine will take place relatively soon. And these guard towers are going to be a problem for HungriCroc. He has not moved in. He has not done anything to harass or try to inflict any damage. Are we going to see maybe perhaps some demolishers anytime soon? No, only just grunts for the moment. No raiders or nor ensnare being upgraded. Now spike barricades being upgraded. I do not know why I decided to make that choice for an upgrade versus that prioritizing of weapons and armor versus that for building upgrades. Are we going to pick up? Nope. Sentry wards, are they going to be picked up? And sentry wards will be picked up right there. Interesting item. A bit of a waste sometimes to fill up your inventory box. Definitely want to either sell that or put it in a strategically located area. Looks like these units are forgetting about their allies. Grunt will go down. Unfortunately, HungriCroc is not paying attention to the fact that his allies right here are under attack and needs to move in his units. Healing wave does go down, thankfully. Let's go back here. Archmage now decides to pick up a Goblin Zeppelin along with a Goblin Shredder. Goblin Shredder will be great at harvesting large amounts of lumber, and we'll pick it up very quickly. Archmage, will he go to level 4? No, he still has a little bit of ways, maybe about halfway left to go to level 4 right here. Is he picking up any hero? No, he is not picking up a Mountain King, nor is he picking up a Paladin yet. Now finally upgrading to a Keep, and Lumber Mill, still no Masonry upgrades, and Blacksmith, still no weapon upgrades, but he is constructing more guard towers right here and putting another Arcane Vault. HungriCroc now still getting out more grunts, now getting out raiders, weapons for the War Mill, nothing being produced. HungriCroc still continuously going about creeping, looking to get his heroes up to sufficient amount of levels before perhaps even considering taking out this expansion. But the longer this expansion remains, the much more ahead Learning Hue will be. Definitely, while his army may be slightly smaller, he definitely has the economic advantage. He is pulling off some more peasants right here. Militia coming over here to begin helping to assist with this creeping right here. Archmage, yep, he should be going down, putting down water elementals, has that brilliance aura, and I am expecting him to get some sorcerers perhaps, or an arcane, not an arcane vault, but well, either ways, humans would typically perhaps go for some form of sorcerers and priests and some sort of spellcasters, but I have not seen that from Learning Hue. Learning Hue is just fine to contend with himself as singular hero of level 4 now, Archmage, and contend himself to creeping and just establishing this expansion. Grunt over here should be an illusion. Yes, this Grunt is an illusion, scouting out the base just to see the situation. And HungriCroc now, will he put down expansion? He may be wanting to consider putting down expansion here. The longer he lets that expansion for the human player continue, though, the further behind he will fall. Now castle being upgraded. Very fast castle in my opinion. I do not know, guys. It is at the 9-minute 33-second mark. This might be a fast castle, I do not know, but either way, Learning Hue is able to afford that castle thanks to this expansion, certainly, and he is still in no upkeep, as you can see, 45 to 54 upkeep for the human player. Now he is down, setting down this second expansion. I was not actually aware of this expansion being putting down another expansion for Learning Hue. He is certainly going to be up ahead in the economic game. HungriCroc continuously going about creeping. Archmage now creeping out this low-level creep camp right here, and he has a Paladin. Paladin very good for that devotion aura, I do believe, giving additional armor, and he does have that holy light, really good again at providing himself as a tanky support healer for his units. Footmen do need that healing support, and they do not have any upgrades on their units. HungriCroc now finishing this creep camp right here at this Goblin Merchant, does have 1-1 on all his units right here, still 3-2 for his heroes, and Archmage now 4 versus that of Paladin 1. HungriCroc now finally setting up an expansion right here, a Great Hall to begin harvesting this gold mine. Has not begun construction of upgrading to a fortress, and is there, nope, it looks like this was an illusion. Another illusion right here. Finally, we see advanced masonry being upgraded, giving additional hit points and armor upgrade to the guard towers themselves, and a griffin aviary finally now being implemented right here. Very sneaky. Actually 2 griffin aviaries. We can probably expect to see some griffins in the skies very soon, actually, beginning to throw their hammers against HungriCroc's army. And he does not have much anti-air. Sure, he does have the raiders with ensnare, hopefully, and he does have 2 troll headhunters, but against a force of aviaries, or against a force of griffins, I'm sorry, and especially in mass, will be very problematic for HungriCroc. Yes, he does have now a Kodo Beast. He does have a Farseer, a level 4 Farseer, and a level 3 Shadow Hunter, but how much damage will those griffins do? That is the very serious question. Now has 0-1 upgrades, armor upgrades for his footman right here. And are we going to begin to see any production for griffins? No, maybe he cannot afford it. Simply, he does not have enough wood or lumber. Now he is getting additional lumber, and he does have now a workshop. Interesting. And he's getting barrage siege engines. It seems like Learning Hue and additional workshop right here. It seems like Learning Hue will be considering getting siege engines. Siege engines, a very interesting unit. Does very good damage against buildings right here. Very good at quickly taking out enemy buildings with quick succession. Definitely going to cause a problem for HungriCroc here. And as you might be aware or not aware, I was not actually I take that back. I was aware of these workshops being built, but what they were to be producing, I did not know. I was very uncertain. And this force, while HungriCroc should have done something, should have purchased more demolishers perhaps to begin sieging this expansion right here, has done nothing. HungriCroc playing very passively, doing nothing, just standing around, isn't even creeping at this point. He can definitely hit up these creep camps here, and here. Maybe even set up another expansion here, but unfortunately he is letting Learning Hue have the economic advantage in this game. And certainly, look, if we go here at this now second expansion up and running, Learning Hue has a great significant advantage in the economic run as well. Now has a level 1 Mountain King. Paladin still level 1, still has quite a bit more experience points to gain. And now HungriCroc still only has his 2 heroes with that of the Shadow Hunter and the Farseer. So for now, we'll begin creeping out this expansion. Now units are 2-1 for his grunts, 1-1 for Troll Headhunter, and now has a Spirit Walker. Learning Hue now with his level 1 Paladin and Mountain King and level 4 Archmage now decided to take out this Furbolg camp right here. Footman now using, what is this move? It is, oh my goodness, I forget what this ability is. Defend, I believe, yes. Footmen are now using Defend to reflect some damage. However, Furbolgs are not using any piercing damage, and if I recall, Defend is used most likely primarily for piercing damage, which is ranged damage to reflect some of it off. However, human player is using Defend, hopefully maybe thinking that he will negate some damage. However, I do not know. If he is, perhaps not. Please do, guys, let me know if he is or not. But either way, HungriCroc now just continuously creeping out. This expansion is finally set up, but it does not matter in the long run. If we check the supplies, HungriCroc may have a supply advantage in 61 over 90 versus that Learning Hue of 52-72, but it does not make that much of a difference. Learning Hue has so much more of an advantage in terms of economic gain versus that of HungriCroc, who is still behind at this point and is unaware of this expansion. Oh, that just bonkers my head right now, not knowing this expansion. I need to really work on my scouting, guys. Really do. Griffin Riders now out doing sufficient good amounts of magic damage. However, DPS is relatively slow. And as we can see now getting out siege engines from these workshops. Oh boy, this is going to cause a serious problem for HungriCroc, no doubt, in the future. More Griffin Riders being produced from the Griffin Aviaries. Are we going to see any upgrades for these units? Checking. No upgrades, but we do see level 2 armor for the buildings of Learning Hue itself. Units, his army mostly comprised of footmen, a single footman, heroes, and 2 Griffin Riders, soon to be 4 Griffin Riders total, I believe, if not more. And now siege engines are being produced very slowly, I'll give you that, but they are being produced. Finally, we seem to have our first battle right here. Learning Hue is actually at a disadvantage at this point, does focus down the Demolisher, realizing that as a primary threat against his buildings. Batrider does go down, not doing what he needs to do to blow himself up and commit suicide kamikaze against this Griffin Rider's healing wave does go down. And the human player is, I would say at this point, is perhaps at disadvantage, but another Demolisher goes down by a Griffin Rider. This is not good. HungriCroc here, while he does have the bigger army, is struggling, and I would say the human player actually has a greater win on this battle. He does lose, I believe, a single Griffin Rider, but does take out in the process 2 Demolishers, setting HungryCroc back and putting a siege against this base. Siege engines now, they do have fortified building armor, and with that masonry upgrade, this has proven to be a great deal bigger bonus for these siege engines. Very tanky and will dealing quite a bit of siege damage against these buildings. Looks like Learning Hue is planning to use these siege engines and simply send them straight into HungryCroc's base and take this out. HungryCroc does not have any additional buildings, no additional barracks, bestiaries, or anything at this expansion right here. Only has the singular buildings right here and is producing another Demolisher and Raider. HungryCroc looking to probably take out these rock chunks, take out these very easy low-level Murlocs right here to gain additional XP. And let's see right here, level 2 Mountain King, level 1 Paladin Steel, and a level 4 Archmage. Human players just content building even more guard towers, and is going to begin creeping out, probably sending his heroes. Looks like he's going to send out his heroes right over here, beginning creeping out these Thunder Lizards. And are we seeing the siege engines move out? Siege engines are moving out right now. Where are they going? Looks like they know of this expansion right here. They might actually know about this expansion. Looks like the siege engines are sending. Looks like the siege engines are being sent here. Learning Hue knows about this expansion, is going to lay siege to it very quickly. Siege engines are going to destroy that expansion relatively fast. Griffin Riders right now. Heroes quickly taking out these Thunder Lizards with relative ease. Manual of Health. Who will it belong to? I'm questioning who will. No. What? Okay, Mountain King picks up the Manual of Health right there. Very nice item for the Mountain King. Wand of Wind, Staff of Sanctuary, and as we can see, HungryCroc now deciding to lay siege to this base. However, siege engines quickly taking out this Great Hall, and this Great Hall is now no more. These peons having forced to return to their base, and HungryCroc now laying siege to this base. However, his units are not focusing on what needs to be destroyed. Guard Tower is doing good amounts of damage to HungryCroc's units. This grunt probably may go down. Will he go down? No, he does not go down. Raider in a precarious situation needs to escape from there. It's only 2 Demolishers going to beginning to lay siege to this barracks right here, but how much damage will they do and how effective will the siege be? Meanwhile, at this point, siege engines now beginning to demolish and beginning to lay siege to HungryCroc's base right here. This is going to be a problem. HungryCroc is forced to return to his base, realizing the fact that siege engines are now beginning to destroy his base, and they're going to lay siege right here. Quickly going to take out these Orc burrows at this point. HungryCroc will find himself very quickly to be at a supply disadvantage. He may once he begins to lose these Orc burrows, he will be supply blocked. Bestiary goes down at this point. Orc Burrow goes down. Siege engines just doing indiscriminate amounts of damage with relative ease, and it's going to take a while for HungryCroc to focus down these units. And all this time, this is buying the human player more and more time to simply creep out and create another expansion. Oh my goodness, Hungry, why were you not aware of this expansion? This is very, very sad. I'm very disappointed, to be honest, guys. I am very disappointed in myself. I was not aware. And all this time, Bestiary, Orc Bros go down. And if we check here, HungryCroc is at 70 supply. He is supply block. He needs to build his Orc Bros. And HungryCroc now trying to move his units, beginning to lay siege to this base again, wanting to apply some pressure, wanting to return the favor that Learning Hue has done, but unfortunately Learning Hue has the economic advantage, and while he may not have the army size, he has certainly done more than enough damage to stall HungryCroc from laying siege and destroying him. Barracks goes down. Another grunt goes down now. There is a wall of farm providing cover against these guard towers, and this units and armies of the Orc player HungryCroc is struggling to make a difference right now, struggling to actually make a dent in the forces of the human player. Human player now moving in with 3 Griffin Riders and his heroes. HungryCroc will be forced to actually begin retreating. Kodo Beast taking so much damage from the magic damage of the Griffin Riders. Human player now turning around. Chain Lightning does go down. Sorry, dealing some good damage against the Griffin Riders, but it may be too little too late at this point. HungryCroc, while he does have the bigger army still, let's check. No, he does not have the bigger army. It's 7180 versus that of Learning Hue of 8500. I take that back. HungryCroc is still at a disadvantage, even in army size. It does not matter if you take down this Arcane Vault or take down an Altar of Kings. Now, HungryCroc forced to use a scroll of Town Portal, forced to retreat back because these siege engines are now destroying his base again. Oh my goodness, Barracks will go down, Spirit Lodge will go down, Orc Burrow will get destroyed, and maybe the Altar of Storms will go down as well. This is a disaster for HungryCroc. HungryCroc losing his infrastructure right here because of these siege engines. These siege engines being produced relentlessly at these workshops and dealing so much damage. If you look at that 48 to 88 damage and armor of 2 fortified with reduction, with 26% damage reduction. They are not taking barely any damage at this point, and this is a disaster for HungriCroc. He is now taking some shells from mortar teams itself. Griffin Riders still existent, and the longer this game goes, the less advantage HungriCroc will be. If anything, I've already been at a disadvantage this entire game. Barracks are down, Bestiary are down, Orc Burrows are down. Let's check HungriCroc's situation. 61 to 50 supply, and he is supply blocked. Certainly, HungriCroc must realize that this is going to be game relatively soon. Still, he is struggling to hold on right here. Human player content to just continuously mine at his own leisure without any sort of worry or concern that he will be attacked or retaliated. Siege engines now intercepted, but it is taking so long for HungriCroc to do any sufficient damage. If anything, Learning Hue can continue to send in his siege engines and deal indiscriminate damage against HungriCroc right here. This is a strategy I will admit I was not familiar with. Most pro players, most pro games I've seen, or higher up, higher tier leveled players I've seen, I have not seen them pull off this sort of play. And this is something I am, again, not familiar with. And it has caught me completely by surprise. Barracks will be taken out very quickly in the process of being built. Will it be canceled? Hopefully, HungriCroc, you will remember to cancel this. Please do cancel this. Please. Please. Okay, it looks like HungriCroc will not cancel this. And the barracks will go down, and there's no refund of gold for HungriCroc itself. Siege engines continuously targeting HungriCroc's buildings. And again, human player is free to do as he please. Oh my goodness, all we see is 2 Griffin Riders and his heroes itself. Not a very big army, and these siege engines. These siege engines are winning the game for Learning Hue. Insane. Learning Hue has the economic advantage, and while he might not have necessarily the bigger army versus HungriCroc in terms of size and units itself and unit variability, these siege engines are winning the game for him. They are paving the way to victory. Peons now forced to move, and there's an excessive amount of peons here harvesting this gold mine. This is not a good play for HungriCroc right here. Will we see a surround? Will we see any ensnare on any of these heroes? Hopefully, I'm expecting an ensnare, but we are seeing nothing of that sort. Finally, an ensnare does go down. Will we see a surround on this Mountain King? Will Mountain King go down? Maybe expecting another ensnare. No. Potion of Invulnerability does go up for that Mountain King, and HungriCroc's units are forced to withdraw, unable to press their advantage against these waves of watchtowers right here, who have 32 reduced damage. Well, they will take actually 32% damage reduction from anything, and my gosh, that is no good for HungriCroc here right here, our Orc player. Another expansion now being forced to be established. But look at that distance. HungriCroc, what is this? This is so poor play right here. I mean, look at that distance, guys. That is just ridiculously bad. Just terrible. And come on, HungriCroc. This is just so sad. So very sad. Militia now being pulled off here. Not exactly sure why that is, if anything, but they are being pulled right here. It looks like, I don't know what they're doing. Perhaps they're going to continuously creep. Now even more siege engines. A total now of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 siege engines and their heroes and mortar teams now beginning to lay siege to this base. HungriCroc is waiting, has been expecting these siege engines to come in, but it will take quite a bit of damage, and these heroes now dealing additional damage. HungriCroc, will he begin focusing on the heroes, or will he now begin focusing on the siege engines? Siege engines should be the greater priority. If the buildings are taken out, this will be a continuous problem for HungriCroc, but HungriCroc has continuously now fallen behind, does not have the economic advantage, and does not certainly have the building advantage, and now Fortress will get taken down. With the Fortress taken down, HungriCroc will not be able to produce tier 3 units, and unfortunately now Fortress is gone at this point. HungriCroc is forced to now create only tier 1 units. He must upgrade this Great Hall to a Fortress at least to get to tier 2. But at this point, it is now too little, too late. HungriCroc has fallen so far behind at this point. Human player, even though he does not, again, have the army variability, these siege engines are just have paved the way towards victory at this point. Level 3 Mountain King, level 3 Paladin, level 5 Archmage, and at this point, HungriCroc is no longer able to do anything. He is powerless, even with a level 6 Farseer and a level 5 Shadow Hunter. That these heroes and his units will do little to stop the advancement of Learning Hue, the human player. Skirmish now going down. HungriCroc attempting to focus down the heroes, but at this point, it does not do him any good. As we can tell, siege engines are right here. They may begin again attacking this base right here. Human player is now at this point definitely paving the way towards victory. He certainly has an advantage. Raider does go down. Paladin, Mountain King, and Archmage, all very strong, decently leveled heroes who can hold their own against HungriCroc's units at this point. Will HungriCroc make a dent? Will he make a difference? It appears not at this point. And Snare does go down. Chain Lightning does go down. But the Mountain King does get a nice heal from the Paladin. And Paladin, with his Divine Shield, will negate any sort of damage. Oh, but now a Scroll of Town Portal does go down. And the Archmage is invulnerable. And human player does escape. Actually, level 3 Paladin does go down. A nice lucky break for HungriCroc. But at this point, again, too little, too late. HungriCroc has fallen far too behind. Now this expansion has been discovered. Learning Hue putting up these guard towers at this point. HungriCroc, seeing that these guard towers are going down, is making his way to take out these towers. But at this point now, guard towers, scout towers are now being upgraded to guard towers, and they shall be respawning relatively soon. And at this point, it is going to be GG for HungriCroc. Siege engines now making their way to destroy the last remnants of these buildings, these poor, sorry buildings of HungriCroc itself. And now the guard towers are down, doing some good additional piercing damage. And with a 32% damage reduction, at this point, HungriCroc can do very little to defend his base and to reclaim the game. And at this point, guys, it is going to be GG for myself, the Orc player HungriCroc, here tonight. Calling out the dang right there. Probably expecting a GG at this point. I'm going to have to call this GG on this one. Haha. And yes, this is definitely GG. Good game on Learning Hue, the human player. Definitely a very interesting new build that I have never seen before, at least in person. But yes, a very good game for Learning Hue. Not so much for HungriCroc or the Orc player myself. Definitely a lot to learn from this experience, certainly. Well, guys, I hope you have enjoyed yourselves on this game. Definitely, it was a bit frustrating for myself personally just to realize that I had fallen so far behind. And there are certain points I need to make that I certainly need to do a better job in scouting and, in general, just scouting. If I had definitely done a better job in scouting out those expansions and perhaps have been a little bit more proactive in destroying that early expansion established by the human player, maybe the game would have been a little bit different. But yeah, please do give me your feedback, guys, on what you thought about the game, about how I can better myself as a player. But overall, I hope this experience has been enjoyable to you guys. I'm just looking to simply share my experience with you guys in general, and hope it's proving to be enjoying for yourselves as well. But I'm going to go right now, and like I always say, guys, take care of yourselves and take care of those around you. Until next time here on Warcraft 3 with myself, HungriCroc, right here to provide you quality entertainment, I hope. See ya.